have the floor, and then I'll kind of close it off at 10 minutes so that we
Okay.
know.
Sounds good.
So yeah. All right, everybody, good morning. It is 10 minutes at 10 with Webo Network. I'm KP, the founder of Webo Network and a business and brand strategist. And today we have Candace Kingston of Kingston Coaching with us. 10 minutes at 10 is our effort to bring you actionable advice that you can use in your business while things are kind of topsy-turvy so that we can all survive and thrive during these crazy times. So good morning, Candace.
Good morning. Great to be here.
Yeah, if you like what you see today, make sure to share it into your groups. And if you know somebody specifically who could use today's tip, make sure you tag them down in the comments. So I just went off script a minute because I'm conflubled, you know, I think we all are a little bit scattered these days. We're used to things happening in a certain way in our businesses and in our world, and it's not happening like that. So Candace actually is going to talk to us today about how to feel in control when everything feels out of control, which I think is something that we all need to hear. So Candace, take it away. What advice do you have for us today?
Well, I think it's really important for all of us feeling, I mean, I know for myself, I was just talking to KP before we went live about my kids, right? Like, how do I get, I'm trying to wake a kid up right before getting on, like, I've got a call to do, get up and do your work, let's go. So we're always trying to grasp at some way of some semblance of control, especially as parents, but also business owners. We're trying to figure all of this out. Now we've been thrown this huge loop, and how do we control that or let go of that control, or should we let go, or what happens if we do? Like, these questions come up for us all the time. And I know my clients feel that way. I know I feel that way. And I think the key to this is really understanding why. Like, why do we even want control? And it all starts with feeling unsafe. So this might be something you can relate to before COVID, maybe when you were a child and maybe you were being bullied. And so you ran home to safety, to your family, to get help. And maybe mom was at work, right? So there was this feeling of you weren't safe. And at that point, you wanted to feel safe, but you felt this distrust. Like, if I can't trust in my mom because she's not there to keep me safe, right? And then that just leads to, okay, I'm in control. What am I going to do about this situation? Whether that's I'm going to eat the whole packet of Oreos, or I'm going to choose, you know, not to do my homework ever and not to listen to authority and rebel, or whatever that was. But there was some way that you as a person felt that you had to take back that control. So this is something that all throughout our lives, first of all, whatever childhood experience happened, your ego stepped in to keep you safe. And now whenever any kind of situation pops up where you don't feel safe, like, I got a call from the principal about my kid, I'm being challenged here, I'm being called to task, I don't feel safe, now I'm going to take away his phone and ground him and make him never go out ever again, right? Whatever the thing is. Obviously, sometimes we do need to take control and put, like, you know, take care of our kids or whatever that situation is. But it's when we're doing it in unhealthy ways, like building an addiction and putting your control into something else that's unhealthy, when this really can be a problem.
So what do we do then when everything around us is out of control and it's triggering that feeling of not being safe? Yeah. And then we start to, maybe, it sounds like, you know, use some of our unhealthy coping mechanisms to regain some semblance of being in charge of what's going on in your world. So how do we address that? How do we know that that's happening to us? And then what do we do about it?
Well, that's a good point. And the first thing is to recognize it and to just be aware. And I call it gently noticing, right? This isn't like controlling the thoughts all of a sudden, because now you're just controlling something else. But if you gently start to notice, like, I just yelled at my husband about loading the dishwasher wrong or whatever. Like, that was interesting. That was a little controlling. Maybe I can loosen my grip a little bit. And it really comes down to baby steps. So the awareness piece is key. And then really just taking baby steps to slowly shift the way you're handling things, and really just kind of finding some solace. So finding a way that you can get back to yourself and your true self. So whether that's being in nature, which I know now is limited, but whether it's just taking a walk around your yard and looking at the trees. I was noticing this morning, my neighbor's tree is blooming like crazy, really beautiful. So just taking in some of that beauty, some of that gratitude. For me, it's also meditation, things like that to keep me grounded, right? Kind of finding that way to find yourself. Also, really just comes down to letting go and loosening your grip and having some faith and trusting. So however you can come to that place, believe me, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in the moment of like the dishwasher getting loaded. You're not going to all of a sudden say, oh, well, I can't control the clouds, so I might as well let go of this. I mean, I'm not Pollyanna here, but it's all about the baby steps of noticing.
So if you notice yourself kind of freaking out over something, it's like that saying, like, pick your battles, right? So if it's something that is not really going to impact, the dishwasher is not an issue for me, because whoever wants to do the dishes, I am not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. But that's something that my husband struggles with, and he will repack the dishwasher in the right way. And so that's just not a battle that I want to fight. So
no, that's good. I was going to say, it's also just about shifting from what you thought you would do to what you can do. So especially in this time when, I thought I'd be going to these networking events. We're just all starting our new chapters. I thought I'd be meeting all these people in person. Okay, I can't, but I can do this. Or I can start my own Facebook for Webo Denver, or I can host a Zoom with my girlfriends to catch up on our kids and what's going on with everybody, right? So what can you do? So really, I think that's where you start to feel empowered and take the control back in a good, healthy way, instead of, well, screw it all, 2020 is a total write-off. I'm just going to go eat that package of Oreos. Not that I've ever done that.
Right. And there's some big stuff going on in our businesses, especially that we can't control. We can't control what our clients do. We can't control what our suppliers do. So when something really big happens, like not dishwasher big, but like
impact,
a client cancels an account because they are also suffering. Like, what can we do? Is that still just getting grounded, maybe going out and taking a walk, or is there something else that we can do in our business that would make us feel more in control of what's happening to us?
Yeah, so I do think that's where it all comes down to our thoughts, and our thoughts become our emotions, which become our actions. So I'm not a big believer of thinking a happy thought, sitting on the couch, waiting for the good stuff to happen. But I am a huge believer of our emotions and how they guide us. So if you have a thought that is, crap, my client just canceled, there's never going to be another one. That's where you can gently notice, okay, that's probably not the best thought to have, or it's probably a more helpful thought or a better feeling thought that I can have. How can I turn that around? Okay, so client X canceled, feels really crazy right now to even imagine getting another client, but how could I possibly get in front of some other people to make that a possibility? What can I do? What can I take control of today to put on my list of actions do to make something like that happen? So, and then what is that emotion? So the first thought when you're saying there's never going to be another client like him, that's frustration, that's scared, that's scarcity, that's lack, that's all of those things. That's not a good emotion. So the second one is more like, I'm starting to feel empowered. I'm starting to feel grateful for all the clients I do have. I feel positive that there could be a better outcome here. And if there's not this week, maybe next week, right? So not putting pressure on yourself, like I've got to make it happen today, because then that's controlling it and holding on too tight. Loosen your grip, be detached from the outcome and just do all the best actions that you can do. I love the door opening, and to get there, right? Like just to make it gently happen.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. That's such
Yeah.
a good message
Yeah.
right now, because I've talked to a lot of business owners who are freaking out, and they, you know, they're canceling their contracts and other people are canceling contracts with them. And it's just a big spiral of fear. So I
It's
love
a
that.
domino effect for sure. And it
Right.
can be
So
scary. Yeah.
it can be scary. So is that voice in your head telling you a true story? Because you've always gotten clients, so why would you never get a client again? And then what do you have control over today that you can do to feel empowered and move forward? I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So if you liked what Candace had to say, definitely check into our calendar of events at webonetwork.com. Candace is the managing director of our Denver chapter, and she has some events coming up, her mastermind social events and her learning session. So that's a great place to connect with her. And if you liked what you saw today on 10 Minutes at 10, join us tomorrow, invite your friends. And if you know someone who's not in the Colorado area, now's a great time to introduce them to Webo, because all of our events are virtual, just like our daily 10 minutes, and they can check our calendar also at webonetwork.com. So thanks so much for your time today, Candace, and I am looking forward to connecting with you next week at your events.
Sounds good, KP. Talk